Okay, y'all, I told y'all I was about to get at these beets. I ain't playing. I ain't playing. I thought I had an appointment today, but it's not for a couple of days, and I'm about to get in on it. So this is the last part of the beets that I have before I to wash, and I'm going through the stages right now. What I'm doing with the beets. Okay, this is my peroxide and my baking soda mix that I'm using to clean my beets with, and that's the result of what you see. And my next step, I've already started on cutting them up, because I will be cutting them up in small pieces to put in the freezer on a tray first before I put them in a plastic Ziploc bag to put them in the actual deep freezer. Okay, and right now I'm gonna shout out the Berta J channel, where she is where I went to start finding out different ways to freeze fruits and vegetables that I wasn't familiar with. So I want to shout out to Berta J's channel, because this has made it very easy for me to plan out and make the steps on correctly freezing certain vegetables and fruits, so that I won't have to worry about it not being, I'm going to be putting it in smoothies and whatnot, using it for those reasons. So it's best to know what you can and can't do for what you're going to use the foods for. Oh, okay, I had to go ahead and pull out my wonderful marble cutting board that I use. I've been using stuff like this for years. Learned it from my grandmother when she had to use a piece of marble, and she just used it as a cutting board. So anyway, I had to get this out because I wasn't gonna make cuts into the counter or whatnot like I was doing with my regular cut, and I didn't have to go through this heavy duty process. So I got too many beets and other things that I'm going to have to cut up. So this is my process of slicing the beets so I can put them on trays, so I can put them in the freezer, the next steps. So yeah, and I'm not, for me personally, you can do what you want to do, I'm not taking off the peels of the beets. I washed them very well, and I'll leave them on, because the process that I use, I'm going to put them in the blender and I'm going to strain it anyway. So I'll be good with that being done that way. Now, if you want to cut the peels off, that'll be fine. Also, I want to tell everybody to be very careful, because when you're cutting things like beets, they're very hard to cut to a certain degree. They're very tough. You can boil them if you want to, but I don't want to have to do that process, because I don't want to take away from as much of the nutrients as I can and preserve it. So be careful, because when you're using knives like this, they will slip and you can easily cut yourself. Okay, I want to show you the next process that I'm actually doing that came from Miss Berta J's channel, is that I put these, and I've only had these in the freezer probably 30 to 45 minutes, and I can show you, see the where you can tell they're freezing already, and they're already kind of super cold. And so I take a tray. Now what I'm going to end up doing is I have some other larger trays that do not fit in the freezer, the regular upright freezer, beside the refrigerator freezer. I'm going to take some larger trays to save me time to go downstairs and put them in the deep freezer, and just leave them in there for a small amount of time to freeze up in the larger trays, because I have at least 2 larger trays. And I also had an idea that you can take some cardboard, if you don't even have trays, cardboard, put some aluminum foil over it to whatever size you want it to be, I might end up doing something like that if I have to, because I'd say that you need to freeze them without them being too clumped up together so they can freeze evenly, and put those in the freezer to use as trays if you don't have certain trays, and especially if you need more than what you actually have. So I just wanted to show this real quick, that these are already frozen, because I'm about to add some more to it. And here I'm going to show you how I cut them in circles, and then I cut them in squares. You do them at the size you like. Just make sure that you're doing them in a decent size where you know they'll freeze good and it won't take such a long time to freeze. Okay, I want you to see that over here, these are the ones that were already freezing, and these are the new ones that I was adding. And I just wanted to show you the difference, that it is a difference, that they were freezing. This is the larger pan that I'm going to use to put down in the deep freezer for a while before I bag them up, just to let you see how large the pan is. This came from the stove. Okay, I've taken the first batch of beets out of the freezer, and as you can see, they're frozen enough for me to go ahead and put them in the Ziploc bags. And I put the other tray of beets down in the deep freezer, and I'll just probably leave them in there probably about a good 45 minutes or so to an hour. But you just have to regulate how your freezer works, because the main point is just to get the vegetables frozen so you can go ahead and put them in the Ziploc bags so they won't be stuck together as far as, well, they freeze thoroughly. That's what you're concerned about. Okay, so I'm taking the frozen beets and putting them in the Ziploc bag. And what I'm going to do is set them aside in the freezer till I can fill it up some more, because this is not as full as I want it to be. Now, in the end, I'm going to end up putting as many beets in a majority of my bags, but it might be 2 or 3 bags that I'll just put smaller portions. Or I might end up getting some smaller Ziploc bags, because I've only got I say these are the gallon. Yeah, the gallon. So I might get some smaller storage freezer bags for me to be able to put them in smaller bags. So I'm showing the processes and the steps to go through. So basically, it should be enough to get an understanding that you cut the beets for sure. Now, there's other vegetables that you do in this manner, where you freeze them on trays before you actually put them in the freezer bags. So I think this is enough as far as this video, because like I said, I'm going to get some smaller, maybe get some smaller storage bags, freezer bags, to put in like smaller amounts so that I can just grab and go as when I want to do some smoothies or juice, whatever you want to call it. So all right, I think that'll be the end of this video. All right.